The upper receiver group improved. The third iteration of the M4 series, also known as the M4 Block 3, just after the M4 Block 2, which featured a Daniel Defense rail, quad rail. They moved to this design, so it's M-LOK, a little easier to attach things, and a lot lighter as far as the rail goes. So we're gonna go over this build here. If you're new to the channel or you've been around for a while, you know I'm really into AKs. So this is actually the first AR that's been featured on the channel, aside from a few shorts where I had a Daniel Defense Mark 18 build. I owned that thing for probably 6 months to a year and got rid of it mainly because I didn't want to pay a tax stamp. This was back before they were talking about tax stamps being free. And I really didn't want to run it as a pistol. It just didn't feel right. I wanted it to be clone correct, but again, didn't want to pay the $200 for a tax stamp. So got rid of that, used that money for more AK stuff. But we'll go tip to butt because that's what Mike Jones does and it's a lot easier. All right, tip to butt. So up front, we've got a Lahar 30 by Aero Precision. Really nice can up here up front. With it being 30 cal, you get a little bit more versatility as opposed to 5.56. Hopefully a little less gassy on what is, from what I read, a little bit of a gassy weapon to begin with. Why'd I go with the Lahar 30? Well, it had good reviews on Q Science, and that guy has dug deeper into suppressors than I ever will in my entire life, so I trusted him. Mounted onto the muzzle device, we're using a Surefire Fast Attach hub here. This was announced at SHOT Show 2025, so a relatively new product. I picked that up on Optics Planet for $268 before shipping and handling, so I was a little worried with Surefire muzzle device that I would not have a mounting solution, but quick Google and I found that thing there. So when you buy this upper from Geissele, this is actually the Geissele URGI near clone upper. It runs about $1,500 online, but you can catch it on sale sometimes. I got this one on Gaffs for $950. The guy said he had shot 90 rounds through it. So 3 mags, and it's pretty believable because everything on it was super clean. Chamber, bolt carrier group was super clean, rifling was still great. So these uppers with the bolt carrier group and the barrel will last tens of thousands of rounds, no problem. So wasn't too worried about that, buying one used. All right, so up front, when you pick up this URGI near clone upper receiver, it will come pin and welded with a Surefire 4-prong with a 14.5-inch barrel. So really nice to get a rifle that you don't have to SBR. Straight out of the box and a little bit of a shorter package here. The Surefire 4-prong seems to be an improvement compared to the 3-prong as far as recoil management and flash hiding. However, it is a little more pingy, which these things are known for. Not going to be a huge problem for me because I'll be shooting it suppressed 99% of the time. All right, so the barrel is a 14.5-inch barrel, chrome line, cold hammer forged with a black oxide coating on the outside. It has a 1 in 7 twist rate. And it's what's considered a government profile, meaning that there's a little bit more weight up front than there is at the back of the barrel. So from my understanding, that's to help with recoil management. Just on the outside of the barrel, we have the Geissele Mark 16 rail or handguard here. This is in a Type 3 hard coat anodized. It's not actually Cerakoted, but it has a really nice color to it. I have seen a little bit of variation to these. It seems like the older models of this were kind of more of a flat dark earth color, whereas this one's kind of more of a bronze coyote color. Geissele calls this a desert dirt color, so DDC, which a lot of people like. I think it has a really nice finish, really nice, easy to grab, and plenty of options here on the M-LOK. You can mount a million different accessories on this if you wanted to, so that's really nice. At the rear of the handguard, you've got 4 tabs here for anti-rotation, 2 of which are set in with set screws here, and then the 2 upper that go around the upper receiver group are not set with set screws, but that's just to help make sure the handguard doesn't come loose. Okay, so on the other side of the handguard here, actually both sides, these do come with QD mounts here at the rear. And some of the earlier models did not have like this actual QD insert. It was just a really weird little circle here, so it's nice to have one that actually has that. Over on the left side on the back, you do get the NSN marking, which is basically a government marking in case this was to be sold to the military. The charging handle also includes that, but I'll get into that later. The upper receiver group is just a simple mil-spec upper receiver. It does have a G up here for G money. So, you know, it's a Geissele mil-spec upper, nothing special about it. So the charging handle that comes with the URGI near clone is the Geissele airborne charging handle. I'm honestly surprised I didn't call it the super airborne because Geissele loves to use super in the names for all their components. But if you buy this charging handle alone, it will come with a bunch of text and everything printed on it. But when you get it with the URGI near clone upper, it won't have that because it's supposed to be like the government model. Over here on the right-sided pull tab there, it does have NSN marking, which is pretty cool. One other thing that's nice about the airborne charging handle by Geissele is that right here at the back on the top, it does have a little tab here. That's evidently there to help mitigate gas blowing back into your eyes. So we'll test that out today and see how functional that is. It is an ambi charging handle, so you can pull on the right side or the left side. So Geissele in the URGI near clone upper will send you with the Geissele Reliability Enhanced Bulk Carrier Group. If you buy this thing standalone, it's like $390 something. I'll drop a link to a video in the description of this one, breaking down this bulk carrier group a lot better than I will be able to, but all I can say is that they're highly reliable. They'll last tens of thousands of rounds with no problems. They have some kind of process here on the lugs on the front, which evidently is one of the first things to go in a high count bulk carrier group. Geissele does some other kind of process to help strengthen those. That's about all I know about it. It's gonna cycle and run just fine. It's super nice and clean. Like I said, Guy said he shot 90 rounds through it. So we got a lot of life left on this bulk carrier group, probably more than I'll be able to shoot it. So quick little easy test you can do is just see if the bolt will hold the whole weight of the carrier group, and it does. If not, your rings are busted, but it seems to be perfectly fine. It's brand new.
Are you gonna go over the lower?
Yeah. All right, so now for the main event here, we got a Palmetto State Armory PA-15 lower on this awesome rifle. So I guess this is just a Palmetto stick in the end. But I don't know, Jonathan, what's the least important part of an AR? I mean, everything's important, but lower receiver is the most. Okay, yeah, so lower receiver is more important than the upper receiver, right? No, but seriously, my plan is to replace this lower receiver here. This thing's pretty much junk. It was just in my parts that I had laying around at home. I bought the upper and then decided to build an AR out of it. So let me know in the comments. I want to do a full ambidextrous lower receiver for this build. LMT Mars versus Geissele Mark II. Let me know what you think. LMT is probably another $150 to $200 more expensive than the Griffin Mark II. So just let me know what you guys think I should get. As far as the parts in the lower receiver, it's all just mil-spec stuff. It's a mil-spec ambi safety, nothing special. For a buffer tube, we've got a Bad Attitude. It's supposed to be a bronze coyote color. However, sitting here in the sun right now, it definitely has more of a bronze color to it. Bad Attitude is a company that does a lot of cool clones for lower receivers. So check them out. Inside the buffer tube, we have the Geissele Super 42 spring, which usually ships with the upper receiver group. This guy I bought the upper from did not have it, or he was using it in another one of his rifles. So I bought another one on gaffs with an H3 buffer that is not Geissele. When you do buy a Super 42 buffer spring from Geissele, it will come with a Geissele H1, which you can add the tungsten weights to increase to a H2, H3. So this being a little bit shorter barrel and being suppressed, we'll see if the H3 is a good buffer for it. If not, I have a mil-spec one we'll try out. We're kind of at two extremes of the spectrum, so we'll see which one runs better. I imagine it'll be the H3, so we'll get into that today. As far as accessories, we have a government SOP mod stock here. I'm a doofus and didn't realize that the government edition doesn't have a QD mount. So I kind of just jerry-rigged my sling down here on this extra little hole I found. Do have the QD mounted up front here. This is just some random little sling I had. Pistol grip, we have the BCM Mod 3 in FDE. Unfortunately, they don't make Coyote in the BCM Mod 3 grip, so I'll probably just rattle can this one or buy a grip that is Coyote in color. For irons, we've got Knights Armament USMC irons. I guess there was, I was reading up on these a little bit. Apparently these things like first came to the market because troops were stealing them out of the armory and selling them on their own. Then Knights was gonna try to sit here and like try to screw over all these people, take them to court over stealing these irons, but now there's like a million of them out there. So you might be wondering why I'm running irons with an LPVO. Obviously I can't get the rear one up, but that's just because I'd like to have irons set on this upper and then be done with it. For an optic, we do have a SIG Tango MSR. This is kind of a budget optic I also got on gaffs for $190. So I don't have enough money right now for a Vortex Razor, which would kind of make this more clone correct, or a Night Force. Maybe one day I'll be that rich. So anyways, that's it on the build itself. We're gonna get into some shooting here in just a little bit, but before I do, I wanted to take this opportunity to ask you guys, if you like this content, please like and comment, consider subscribing. YouTube has really been out to hunt down gun tubers a lot recently. I've seen plenty of videos talking about it. They're pretty much having issues. You have to follow all these certain little rules to not get demonetized. So we're trying really hard. If you really like watching YouTube gun content like I do, the best thing you can do is drop a like and a comment. It really helps us out because half these videos you're watching don't get any kind of monetization. Or if you do, the producer of the video worked really hard to jump through lots of hoops to make it happen. So I really appreciate that. Did you know if you wrap your thumb around your pistol grip like this, it adds 15 accuracy? All right, way better group here. We will say this is pretty much our last one. I could probably dial it to the left, maybe one, maybe 2 clicks.
What's up, guys? This was Jonathan's group. 1, 2, 3, right there.
Wow, that's really good, dude.
So I'm a better shooter than Shane here.
Yeah, check them out, Firebox campaign. Been shooting the Geissele URGI PSA build, whatever you want to call it. It's been shooting really smooth. Like I said, I'm used to AK, so the impulse or the recoil is a lot different. Feeling it more on the shoulder versus at the front of the gun. It feels really nice though. I think that Super 42 is doing a really good job. But let's do this build drill.
Didn't pick it up. Still going.
So 1 second. Had some Charlies in there, but yeah, it's fun. I've said it before, I'll say it again, feature a lot of AKs on this channel, so getting back into an AR platform has been an absolute blast. One of the cool things about ARs compared to AKs is just the amount of input you can have on the build as far as building it from the ground up, all the parts, all the accessories. It's a lot more like Legos, you hear that said often. So it's been really fun kind of treating this like a safari hunt, trying to find all the parts, accessories to make this build possible. Overall, super impressed with the URGI near clone. Not much to say about the Palmetto lower. While we're on the subject, go ahead and let me know in the comment section below. Should I get an LMT Mars or a Griffin Mark II? That's kind of the 2 ambi lowers I'm looking at. LMT has a little bit more drip, cool roll marks, all that kind of stuff. But it's probably about $150 to $200 more expensive, so I gotta take that into consideration. Back on the URGI, super impressed with it. It wasn't as gassy as I thought it was gonna be. I think the mid-length gas system kind of helps with that, paired with the Super 42 and the H3 buffer. But that's pretty much it for this video. I'm gonna try to get more content on this gun, maybe some more distance shooting, accuracy testing, and some comparison to some other builds or comparison to AKs. But if you like this content, please stick around, give me a like and a comment. Like I said before, that goes a long way, especially in the current environment on YouTube. But I really appreciate it. Y'all have a good one.